So I'm back with the build process. I got my CPU nice and clean. I don't know if it'll get into focus, but got off all the old CPU thermal paste. So it's always good to protect these pins, so installing the CPU first would be a really good idea. Now, installing the CPU is very simple, and these people who design these electronics make it idiot-proof. Because if you look here on the CPU itself, you've got a little, I don't know if it'll focus, but there's a little triangle right here, and that's going to point to a corresponding notch or triangle on the CPU. And it's kind of hard to see, it just depends on the motherboard manufacturer, but right here where my screwdriver is a little triangle. And that's where you want to line up the triangle from the CPU onto the bracketry or wherever it may be on your particular motherboard. So here we go, really simple. There's the triangle here, my bad. Triangle here, triangle there. So all we got to do is just be very careful. Put it in the slot. As you can see, it rests in there very nice and easy. Give it a gentle wiggle to make sure that it's within the little brackets or the little nook here. Yep. And now you want to put down the clamping mechanism. So there you go. Now sometimes you have to make sure, put the right one down first, put this bracket out of the way, this lever up, you have your catch right here, and you just want to push it down. Sometimes it'll feel really hard, but that's alright, and then you'll, oh yeah, you got to lift this up, there we go. So it'll get caught sometimes, but we have that side clipped in, and then push that down and in. Boom. There you go. And your CPU is installed. Now, let's look at the RAM. So before, it's been a while since I've remembered the specs that I have for this system, and I actually have, as I mentioned before, 2 brands. I have 8 sticks, right? But actually, this particular brand is a 4 gig stick. If I can get it to focus here. Focus, focus, focus. Alright, there we go. Team Group Inc. 4 gigabyte stick. And then the other ones I have are a Pacific Sun 8 gig stick. So I got 32 gigs here, and then 16 here. So now again, they've designed this so you can't really mess it up unless you force it. With these RAM sticks, you've got a little key notch here. You can see that these contacts have a break. And they correspond to a break here on the slots of the memory. You've got a little notch right there. And that's to make sure that you don't install it backwards. And I'll show you what happens when you try to install it backwards. So I put it the wrong way. You push down, it's going to rock. You don't want to do that. It's not keyed properly. So you want to see how the notch is, and you want to put it in alignment with that notch. Now, I want to align these kits with the different channels. So you have these gray channels and these black channels. So with the 8 gig kit, I'm going to put these in the gray, and with the 4 gig kit, I'll put these in the black. So it's really easy to put this in. So all you have to do is just make sure it's lined up. Make sure that the memory stick is keyed in with the key on the slot on the motherboard. And all you have to do is take your thumbs and do even pressure on both sides. And you hear a click. And that means your RAM is in. And you can see the tabs came in. The tabs have little it'll grip into these little notches here you can see on the side of the RAM sticks. So I'll go ahead and follow through with the rest. Oop, okay, I didn't click. Sometimes that'll happen. Here we go, got a click. Now on these motherboards, sometimes they'll flip them on the other side, so you got to be careful about that. So gray, gray, and then I'll put this stick in here, click, and then do the same thing here. Don't be silly. Gray, gray. Oop, not a good one. If it doesn't feel good, there's no shame in taking it out and trying it again. Click, okay. And then I'll repeat the same process with the other set that I have, the other kit. Put that in there. Click. Click. Now, I got myself. Yep, that didn't feel good, so I'll back it out. There we go, and then try it again. And then for the last stick, not my day today. Click. So you can always have a good feel. It's okay to push down on them, make sure it's okay. So yeah, that's the install for the RAM. And now let's do the M.2 little memory. Let's see here. So you have this little notch here. That's going to correspond to where the screw down mount is. Let's see here. So basically you want to put it in there. Nice little affirming click. And put that down there. And here's the fun part. Take it down here. Screw that into place. You don't have to tighten it that much, just finger tight, and there you go. And that's a basic install of the memory, CPU, and the M.2 NVMe drive. Now I'm going to go ahead and install the brackets for the CPU cooler. These can be always a little fun. And sometimes you might have to readjust them, but you gotta know your cooler. But I'll just do a quick demo real quick. You have to put in the slots, and you can look on the instructions of your CPU cooler of how to mount them. And those go in there. And then you've got your basic little thumb screws. And you can just basically start them really softly. And don't have to really tighten them too much, just finger tighten them until they stop. And when they start to catch, you want to do a really basic X pattern. Just have to do them finger tight, and this is just for demo. I'll show the cooler installation in another video, but yeah, that's basically how to install components on your motherboard. And one real quick thing is, if your CMOS, this is your CMOS battery, and if you ever have a problem with boot up, or if your system clock doesn't work, or you just have problems with boot, sometimes your CMOS will go out, and to replace the battery is really easy. You have a little retention clip that you just clip out, push here, and then you can see the battery pops up. It has a little, contact there. Then to put it in, you just snap it in. Really easy peasy for that. So there you go. Here's a good tutorial for you. Thanks.